This is my dog named Noah. This is my dog named Noah.
Okay, Emma, let's read the book.
Okay.
Come on up here. Before Emma was born, we lived in Washington, D.C. with Bella. And this story is about a dog who goes to Washington, D.C. And the dog's name is Bubs, but we're going to call the dog Bubs because that's what we call Bella sometimes. Bubs goes to Washington. Bubs took a train to Washington to see his country's sights and play with his tennis ball, in which she just delights. But when the train pulled into the station at D.C., the ball rolled away to where Bubs couldn't see. The ball rolled faster and faster. It was a total disaster because it did not stop or slow down, and poor Bubs had to look for it all over Washington town. At the memorial for Abraham Lincoln, Bubs sat up and started thinking, if a man from chains is meant to be free, will someone take this silly leash off of me? George Washington was president number 1 back when our country had just begun. His monument stands straight and tall, and excuse me while I search for my ball. In front of the U.S. Supreme Court, Bubs had an important thought. If another dog took away my ball, the court would get it back for me after all. At the Smithsonian, they have the rockets that went off into space, which is very dark and lonely and a great big empty place. They show the men who walked on the face of the rocky moon. Do you think that dogs can do that anytime soon? Our flag was planted by the U.S. Marines in one of our history's most famous scenes. To the troops who made sure that freedom never fails, people give thanks and dogs wag their tails. I have a dream, Martin Luther King once said, throughout the long march for equality that he so bravely led. Skin color makes no difference, this I can plainly see. I love everyone who throws a ball to my pals and then to me. Here's where Congress meets to pass laws and spend our money. The Capitol Police were there in force and did not think it funny when I ran up and down this building's famous hall, looking all over the place for my lost and missing ball. Here's where all our coins are made. They say they're minted. This is the place where America's money is designed and nicely printed. They keep the dollars in these big piles, so tall but oh so neat, and they could buy some tasty biscuits that even Bubs could eat. The G-Men are the agents of the famous FBI who catch all of the bad guys on land and sea and sky. And when a person goes missing, they give the case their all. Hey, do you think it might be possible for these guys to find my ball? At the White House in the springtime, kids hunt for Easter eggs. Bubs joined them in the hunt and ran between the president's legs. She looked up at President who stood so big and tall, but she didn't find an egg. She wanted to find her ball. Bubs came to the statue of FDR, one of the greatest presidents by far. He led us to victory in World War II and had a dog named Fowler who Bubs never knew. At the memorial for the Second World War, Bubs was thrilled by what she saw. The monuments were to those who kept us free, but still there was no ball that she could see. The Library of Congress has every book, so Bubs decided to have a look. The ball wasn't in the section on pets or sports. Bubs was getting somewhat out of sorts. All men are created equal, Thomas Jefferson famously wrote in the Declaration of Independence's most often quoted quote. If people are equal, can it possibly be that dogs are too, especially me? At the tomb of the unknown soldier, we honor heroes past. Bubs thought that in this solemn place, she'd find her ball at last. Just then, a man in uniform came walking Bubs' way, and it was clear to one and all that he had something important to say. I've served our country in peace and in war, and I love America, but I'll say no more. Say, is this the ball you've been looking for? I've got my ball, hip hip hooray! But more important is what I learned today. America is great and brave and free, and a wonderful home for you and for me. Back on the train, Bubs started to smile and looked at the countryside for quite a while. She thought, no matter how far I roam, this is America, my home, sweet home. The end.